started the organization in 2011. When we started, we just started with one team. At that time, it was a 14U team. We started out in AAU football, and started with 25 kids. And over the years, we basically have grown to now we have basically ages 6U through 12U this year. So we've grown as an organization, and the only way we've been able to grow is through the parents. So we definitely appreciate all of our parents. Without the parents, we can't make the organization run. So we definitely appreciate you all for choosing the Spiders this year. A little bit about the organization on our focus. We're big on academics. So this year we're going to put in a little, with each coach, they'll be checking in on the kids with their academic, checking up, making sure all the kids are doing what they're supposed to do in school. If you all ever have an issue with your child in school, please let the head coach know. If you've reached out to the head coach and the head coach hasn't helped you or responded, let us know, because when we talk to our coaches, each coach understands that academics is what comes first for us. So if you don't get a response from your coach when you have an issue with your child, please let us know. Fundamentals of football. Very important for us, teaching the fundamentals. If you ever have questions or want to know what's going on or why a coach is doing something, please ask. I'll introduce everybody, but DJ, he's our athletic director. So if you ever have any questions or you got issues with your child's practice or you want to know why they're doing certain drills, whatever the case may be, please let us know. We're family oriented, so we definitely want to hear back from our parents. If you got an issue, please let us know what's going on so we can work through it and try to fix whatever problems you may have. Sportsmanship on and off the field. There's a code of conduct that each child will have to sign, and also parents. When we sign that, there's a list of items, and we'll make sure over next week we'll get into signing paperwork. Last couple of weeks we've been trying to make sure everybody's been registered, but we do have some paperwork, code of conduct stuff that we need all of our parents to sign. And sportsmanship is very important with the parents and the kids. When we have our officials roughing our games, a lot of times it's big on the parents. Y'all play a big role in how the games get officiated. Even though it may sound crazy, but officials, they're human beings, and if you can sit there and talk bad about them and bash them and call them out their name, it's going to take an effect on our kids. So we got to think twice before we say something negative. Granted, the coach is going to jump on them as well. So when we get the parents on top of it, it's just a lot of extra that we don't really need. So we won't have any issues because it really can affect the kids' games. I've seen it multiple times where officials will just, not give your kids a call or not give us a call because the fans have been too hard on them, even though that's their job, but at the same time, they're human beings. So please kind of just take heed in what you say and how you act at the field. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the introductions. Get our secretary, Ms. Deirdre, to go over that.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to take a few minutes just to introduce our Rich City staff, beginning with our board. To my left, we have President Linwood, goes by Coach Wood. Right beside him, we have Vice President Montel, goes by Tail. Further down, we got Reese, which is our concession director. To my right, we have our head field marshal, Allison. Next to her, we have our senior equipment director, Jeff. And we have Tara at the end as our treasurer. And we have DJ sitting in the front. He's our athletic director. Also want to introduce our coaches for 6U. If you're here, stand up. Damien. His team manager is still needed. Is that what still needed? Okay. Then we have our 7U, if Ricky is here. He's our head coach. And Danielle, if you're here, she's her team manager for Ricky. 8U, we have Donald. Is he here? There we go. And we have Chantel, which is our team manager for that. 9U, is Mike here? Oh, Mike. Hey, Mike. Myself and Toya, are you here? Myself and Toya is the team manager. Tail is up here, is our 10U head coach. Maurice, we have our 11U head coach. And Catherine is the team manager. And I'm sorry, is Miosha here? There she goes. Stand up, girl. She's our 10U team manager. Linwood here. Wood is our 12U head coach. Chinese here? She's not here. Okay. And at the end, we have down there is our head coach, Tiffany. She's our cheerleader head coach. We're actually in the process of growing our cheering squad. If you have any girls or daughters, nieces, anybody, we most definitely would love to have them.
Thank you. Next we're going to have Allison speak to you all on the league requirements. I know it's a lot of paperwork that is due, so I want to make sure you all know what is needed, and if you have any questions, it's the time to ask her, and she'll go over that.
We'll have paperwork packets available to pick up from concessions, and we'll be working with your team managers to help make sure everything's back to us. AYF does require a lot of paperwork, but it is required for all children that are participating in the league. In addition to that, every child is required to have a DMV identification card. If you haven't already taken your player to DMV, please do so as soon as possible. They will have to have the actual physical card before they're allowed to play in their first game, and it can take up to 2 weeks to receive it in the mail. So if you haven't, please do that as soon as possible. In addition to the AYF forms, we will need a copy of your child's birth certificate. It's just another safety measure to make sure that everyone is in the proper age groups. And then one of the forms we will be giving you is a medical clearance form. You can either take that to your doctor to have them sign off that the child is in a well condition to be playing football, or if you've already taken them for a physical this year, we can use a copy of the physical. It just has to be dated after January 1st of 2019. Any questions on paperwork? Yes.
Is this a Spiders league or is this the UFL league?
This is Spiders.
So where's the UFL league?
Not sure.
If they play in the spring, do y'all still have that birth certificates and stuff from then, or?
I may still have birth certificates from last fall. If we collected it, we're gonna have to just pull them all out.
Okay.
If
And
you
we'll
have
let
received
you
your
know.
still got them.
Yeah, because I made a copy of it.
Gave it away.
Yeah, so all the copies that we've put in the book, we're just for the returning players, we're gonna pull them out and we'll let you know if we have them.
Everybody else here for the Spiders meeting?
You should have started with this.
That the child has to have the actual ID before they're able to play in a game?
Yes.
Okay, because Mason got his receipt form,
Yeah, if you've already gotten his receipt, it should be here before the game.
the first game. Okay.
Yes, the first game isn't until the end of the month.
Okay, good.
And if anyone has any paperwork or IDs today, Allison and I would be glad to accept that if you all have it.
Any more questions on forms, paperwork, IDs? I'm gonna just talk a little bit about our practice and games. Once we start school, practice will be cut back to 2 days a week. Now some of the teams, depending on different age groups, everybody will not practice on the same day. Some teams will practice Tuesdays and Thursdays. Some teams will practice, Mondays and Wednesdays or whatever the case may be. We'll let everybody know what your schedule will be within the next week or so you guys can start preparing as well once school starts. Occasionally there will be a third day, but that will only be on up to the coach, and it won't be a thing where they do weekly. It may just be once in a while where they want to add a third day in just to work on something with their team. First game is August 31st. That's our first official game. So you're gonna need your IDs, hard copy, at least a week before that. So if you haven't took your child to get their DMV ID, I advise you wanna go ahead and do that ASAP, because without the ID, they won't let your child play. Even if you have the receipt paper, they still will not let them play. So please make sure you get the IDs. That's the last thing that we want to have one of the kids be there on Saturday and they can't play because they don't have an ID. As far as game schedule, 9 times out of 10, unless we have teams coming in from out of town or, you know, some odd reason, the schedule will be 6U first, and it will go from youngest to oldest. So the 6U games usually start 8 or 9 o'clock. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be 9 o'clock this year, and then it'll go so on and so on and so on after that, from the youngest to the oldest. As far as travel this year, our state championship, basically the way our season goes is you play in the conference, which you play in your local conference. If you win the local conference, then you qualify to the states. If you win the states, you go to the regionals. You win the regionals, you go to national. This year, the states are in Richmond, so we're hosting the states in Richmond. Our conference actually gets to host the states this year, so we won't have to go anywhere for states. And regionals is located in Tidewater this year, so the Hampton Roads area. So we actually got a good year as far as traveling, going to states and regionals. In the past, they've been in Maryland, North Carolina, up and down the East Coast. So this year, we kind of lucked out with having states and regionals right here. During the regular season, travel games will be, we will have some games, and the furthest we'll have is Northern Virginia and Tidewater, Virginia Beach area, Norfolk, as far as we'll go for regular season games. We won't have to go out of state. You won't have to worry about going to Maryland or North Carolina or any of that during the regular season this year. Next year we may set up something for out of state, but this year y'all don't have to worry about going out of state. Any questions as far as practice or game schedule? As far as the schedule will be out probably within the next 2 weeks, probably a week. I would say a week before our first game, maybe sooner, but a lot of times we don't get the schedule until the week before the first game. Any questions about practice or games?
One question,
I just want to confirm, so we'll be playing like 6, 7, 8, 9 in Delaware.
Yeah, because in the past it has been they played the even teams first and then they came back and played the odds, but this year we're going straight through.
How many games do you anticipate us playing? How many games will be on the schedule?
Regular season is an 8-game season, 8-game schedule. Now once you get to the states, the format of the states is 4 teams that go to the states. So you'll play Saturday, then you'll turn around and play Sunday if you win, and that's how it'll be on the regionals and on the nationals.
I just want to say, at 11U, I was looking forward to the even numbers first, and now I'm sad it's double.
Oh yeah.
But I just wanted to tell you that my face is disgusting.
I'm sorry about that. Any more questions? Alex, you want to go over volunteers?
As Deirdre already mentioned, we are asking for a team manager for each age group, which I think the only one we are still looking for is 6U, so please get with us and Coach Damien if you're interested in that. For our home games, we're going to need someone to do the chain crew, 3 people per game, and then someone to help work the clock. Sometimes we have people that can help with that, sometimes we don't, so we always like to have a volunteer lined up just to be on the safe side. And additionally, for every game, you need 2 NPR reps per team. And with the NPR, AYF believes that every child should get a chance to play during the game. So they do have a mandatory amount of plays that that child has to have based on how big the team is. So we have 2 people, 1 person will stay on your side and help your team make sure your plays are tracked. The other person would go to the opposite sideline and track their plays. Field marshal, I'm always great with helping with that. Coach Jeff is great with helping with that. So I know it might seem a little overwhelming, but once you get through that first or 2 offensive, defensive series, it's super easy, and we're definitely there to help you if that's something that you are interested in doing more so on a regular basis.
Any questions about volunteer as far as the for the game days?
Yeah, we also I need two volunteers per game to work in concessions. Like previously in the past, we always pick like if you got a child on 6U, that's like the hardest age group to get a parent to do it because after the game, sometimes they leave, but you're more than welcome to stay and work in it after your child's game. But from 8U on up, we want the next team parents to be in there. So if you want 8U, we want a 9U parent to kind of work in the 8U, work the 8U game, and so on and so on. And also, like, you know, I know it's hard and, you know, a lot of people don't want to do it, but we're going to give $50 of your registration money to you back towards the end of the season if you're able to pull 8 games. We're only going to have 4 home games. So if you work 8 games throughout the season, like if you want to stay in there for 6U, 8U, 10U, and do it like that, you're more than welcome to stay. We have a list and a sign-in list on the dates that everybody will. It'll be put into the GroupMe's or emails, and you can just sign up and say what dates you want. And that's about it on the concession. It's not hard. We basically need people in there to do runners, like to grab stuff and everything else. We normally have somebody that's going to cook and take the money, but we need people to like maybe wrap up burgers or, you know, different stuff like that to go get stuff. Pretty much a runner. And so the team moms will be putting it in the GroupMe's. As soon as we get the schedule to let y'all know what dates that we're going to need that inside concession.
Also, just to touch base on volunteers, again, this year we're really trying to expand our cheering. We currently have, what, 40 girls, and Coach Tiffany is in need of 2 cheering coach. So if anyone is interested, please come and see myself, Tiffany, or Tara at the end. Again, we need like 2 cheering coaches. If anyone is interested, please let us know.
Matt, can you speak on communication?
Hi, I'm Matt, current director, communications director. We use GroupMe. Everybody here has GroupMe. And that's what, if you don't have it, that's okay. You can add it on your Android or your iPhone. That's how all the communication goes out, that and email. Myself, I'm in discussions with the board. Hopefully within a week to 2, we're going to with their blessing, transition off of that to something called SportsU. SportsU is, those aren't on Facebook. You don't have to be on Facebook, don't worry. It works just like GroupMe, but it's like a Facebook for your team. And you have each group in it. You can upload pictures, share pictures, because I know, like with the 12U, we got pictures, we post them up there, and there's a lot of times people don't have the ability to get them. It works the exact same way as GroupMe with your communications and so forth. It just gives more bells and whistles. And I know all of us don't like getting notifications about everything. So if somebody, for example, were to post, hey, practices have been changed to a different time, that's important, so you can signify the importance of that message in the group, so it lets you know. But if it's just something, hey, you know, hey, Johnny's running late. Okay, well, everybody doesn't need to know Johnny's running late. Just the coach needs to know Johnny's running late. So it gives a little bit more flexibility with that. We'll have more on that comes, but right now we're just using GroupMe right now, but hopefully we'll be able to move over to that, because I know GroupMe is not the ideal way to communicate, but that's what we have right now. All right.
So the mandatory fundraiser that we do is a raffle. We ask them that each kid sell a book of tickets. There's 10 tickets in the book, $5 per ticket. So that child's, once you sell the whole book, that's $50. So again, we ask every child to do that. We do have an opt-out fee. It's $25 if you have one child in the organization. If you have more than one child in the organization, it's a $40 opt-out fee. One of the raffle will be on homecoming. The prizes for the raffle: first place $500, second place $250, third place $150. All of those are cash prizes. So again, make sure that you sell a raffle ticket, that you give the correct information, the correct number, all that. We're gonna reach out to the person who wins. They got a week to come claim the money. After that, go back to the organization. So I hate for you to be the $500 winner and you don't put your information in the ticket and you done missed out on $500. The tickets should be ready next week. Once we get the tickets, we'll give them to the team owners, and then that way they can give it to the coaches and to the players. If you choose to opt out, like I said, you can come to the concession stand, see Deirdre or Tara, pay your opt-out fee. But it is mandatory if you choose to do it, or if you choose not to do it, $25 fee, $40 for multiple kids.
As far as the Pearl, I've had a couple parents, quite a few parents ask about a Pearl and when they can place orders. Starting next week, we'll have order sheets for the different apparel that we'll have. This year we're going to have, for those, it's been like 2 years, but we're going to do the varsity jacket order again this year. We'll bring that stuff from the concession stand so y'all can see it. We'll do varsity jackets, book bags. We'll have our t-shirts, and also we'll have leggings for the women. We'll have women leggings, and we'll also have the tights for the boys. So all that stuff will be in the concession stand next week, so you can start ordering your items.
I apologize. The football players will be doing the mandatory opt-out raffle tickets, but the cheerleaders have a mandatory Yankee Candle fundraiser, and the same opt-out fee applies. So if you have one cheerleader, it's $25, and if you do have a family, it'll be $40. We do have those fundraiser packets available in the concession stand. So if you do have a cheerleader, again, you can see myself, Tiffany, or Tom. Yes, ma'am.
What does the opt-out fee go for?
That's to offset like costs like nationals, regionals, things like that. With the cheering squad, we're trying to just do things outside. You talking about football or cheerleading? I'm just speaking for everybody. No, because I was speaking about cheerleading. As far as cheerleaders, it will offset any costs as far as like traveling, snacks, things like that. Nationals, regional is very expensive for the cheerleaders to travel, so it kind of offset those expenses.
So for the cheerleaders, the donut sheet and the calendar, they two separate things?
So yes, so the donut. So the donut fundraiser is to help parents if they have financial issues, basically. Because a lot of cheerleaders, they have brothers who play sport, who would play for Spiders. So as the cheerleader director and head coach, we're just trying to help out the parents for cheerleaders. So the Krispy Kreme fundraiser will help you pay for the registration fees and the uniform. For the Yankee Candle and for the chicken and waffles, that's to offset like the other costs when it comes to cheerleaders.
So do we have to participate in both, or is it one of the other?
Let me answer that. I'm gonna ask you a question. The Krispy Kreme is for your cheerleader. That money, everything you raise, $4.50 goes towards your cheerleader. It doesn't go to the organization. The chicken and waffles and the Yankee Candle goes to the cheer organization for travel. So whatever you raise for Krispy Kreme goes towards your one cheerleader.
But for the chicken and waffles, are we?
Yeah, I'm not mandatory.
Both or one or the other?
The chicken and waffle is not mandatory for the kids, for the parents to do. The Yankee Candle is mandatory.
Did you guys hand out that information against the general
No.
cheerleaders yet?
No, not yet.
Okay,
not
good,
yet.
I thought I missed it.
No, not yet,
We'll
not
have it
yet.
done.
We'll be having a parents meeting to give you all the information, calendars and everything like that. So
Okay,
definitely have it.
thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions regarding cheer fundraising? Oh, I guess it's me again.
Also, for each age group, your coaches should have, they should be having a parents meeting with you all individually, just to kind of let you know their expectations. If they don't have a parents meeting with you, please get with DJ, because that's something that has to be done. They should definitely have a parents meeting with you to let you know what their expectations is, and if you all have any questions that's specific to your age group, they should be able to answer.
Next on the agenda is homecoming. Anyone that's new to the organization is basically similar to like a high school football. Basically, we have a homecoming each season. Normally, that's what, beginning of October that we normally do. It's basically just like a huge party just for the organizations to come together, board members, coaches, family members, the football players. It's just like a huge party that we have each year. Again, it's in early October, I would say. Most likely fall on Friday before our homecoming game, which will be on that Saturday. Each team manager will reach out to you all to kind of get you all's decorations and things going on for each age group. And again, it's just like a big, huge cookout. So we have food, pizza, drinks, music, car clubs, everything like that. So just look forward to that. We'll have more information coming soon regarding that. And also the team manager will be reaching out to everybody for volunteers, like cleanup, decorations, food, things like that. So be on the lookout for that.
All right, so equipment. Y'all need any equipment, just holler at me. I mean, really, like, if something happens with your helmet, I got pieces for them. I got stuff to fix shoulder pads. I mean, I do know that anybody that's ordered a helmet, we have some of them that came in and some of them are on back order. They're going to be on back order for like the next 2 weeks, unfortunately. And then, so if you haven't ordered a helmet, we need to do it like before next week. With them being on a 2 or 3 week back order, we might not even get them in before the first game if we place an order after next week. So that's about it.
I just want to touch on that with the helmet situation. That's kind of why we've been pushing the whole helmet thing early, because everybody, basically what they do is manufacture. They make a set number of helmets in certain different colors, and they send them out to all the different companies. Depending on what company you use, kind of depends on the availability of the helmets. Our color being navy with a red face mask is kind of an unusual color. They stock up more on the whites and blacks. So the navy with the red face mask is always kind of difficult during this time of the year because everybody in America is playing football right now. So like he was saying, at this point it is 2 to 3 weeks because the supplier that we get our helmets from and even a couple other suppliers that we also get equipment from, they no longer have those helmets on their shelves in stock anymore. So now we have to go directly to the dealer, which that means they gotta actually make the helmet, put the helmet together, the whole 9 yards before we can actually get it. So that's why it's gonna take 2 to 3 weeks now, because they're just out now. We are still looking, but we're gonna end up placing the order. Well, we've already placed the order, but the other ones we're still looking to find out if we can get another option or somewhere we can get some more in.
Hello, I'm Tara, I'm the treasurer with Rich City, and we're just trying to get the registration and cheer fees paid up as soon as possible. So if you do have any outstanding balance or something, please give me so we can try to get it taken care of as soon as possible.
Pretty much.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
because my son, he can't fit his helmet. So I think I talked to you. I paid for a new helmet, and then y'all got his old one. So, like, I need to know if he can helmet or not.
Get with us at the end, and we can check the list to find out where he is on that list.
Okay, so y'all don't have this, would I be able to get the money so I can go get him one?
Yeah, definitely. If you got another option that you know where you can get the navy blue, the red face mask, and that's fine. Won't have no problem. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Do we have any questions? Any questions that y'all may have before we wrap up?
I came last year, so it's my second year. The money, the 125 or 150, where did that money go? Who gets that money, and what do we get out of that money?
Okay. Yeah, we had a breakdown, and we'll also email that out. But uniform is $50. So that's your uniform cost right there. Then also our officials, even though we do have concession, we do have to pay our officials. Our officials are $45 a game for 4 officials per game. So that cost goes, and also we also have the insurance cost, which is $15 per kid that we have to pay to the league. And your mouthpieces, helmet decals, the shoulder pads, you know, we have to buy the equipment to repair helmets, shoulder pads, but I will send out the total breakdown in the email so everybody in the organization can see the actual breakdown of dollar for dollar on why we charge what we charge for the registration.
I wanted to ask about the fees that are due. Will the child still be able to play even if their fees are due? Is there a time limit, just like the IDs, right before any games are to begin? You know what I mean? Are the fees due like this date? Is there before that game, or will the kids be able to play without the whole fee being paid out?
We do want all the fees to be paid before the first game of the season.
Yeah, y'all have like a cutoff on it though, like to everybody?
30th, okay.
So the first game is on the 31st.
Right, so it can be put in on the 30th.
And to add on to that, a lot of the stuff, I have to speak up on that, a lot of the stuff behind the scenes that people don't see, but it's out there. We have that big spider that the kids run through.
Yeah.
That's money that when we have it, we're like, we got to do something. Last year we purchased a sled that we didn't have. We're always used to have coaches hold the bags. We purchased the sled so the kids could have that to work with. So there's always constant, and there's stuff that the association is always doing, and it's total transparency. If you have a question, ask. But we do give back, and that's when we sit back at the end of the year. We always like, listen, what can we do this year for the kids, the association? What can we do, to help out, And so it's always there. Those are good questions, though. By the way, it's like, hey, what's it go to? That's a fair question.
And to add on to that, we did order each kid, once your registration is paid, will get shorts and t-shirts. We waiting on those. They should be in any day now. So each kid also gonna get shorts and t-shirts once with their registration.
And one other thing that Coach Wood didn't mention is that the states, you have to pay to play in the states. After you have to pay to play in regionals, and that gets expensive. And the association covers that too. It's not, some associations up north will turn around and go to the players and say, listen, we're going to state, we've got to come up with $1,500. And they're like, well, we're not coming up with it, so they don't go. And because the states, when they have states and regionals, they have to pay for their facilities and their referees and their insurance and their concession people if they vendor it out. And they also, you've got announcers and scoreboards, because in the states, that's all got to be paid for. So that's a big part of the fees too that people don't see behind the scenes.
And just to touch bases on the due date for the cheerleaders, their fee is due August 15th. And just to give a breakdown of what that fee is including, the league fee, the Rich City Spiders girls practice shirt, the uniform, which is the shell and the skirts, and sock, is it socks and lollipops, Stephanie?
Lollipops and long sleeves.
So just to give you all a breakdown as far as where that money is going to. But cheerleader fees are due August 15th, and that fee is $75 per cheerleader.
But did y'all drop the price down for the cheerleaders or what?
Well, we actually just did drop it.
She got a credit.
But I paid,
She has a
I paid $179.
Okay, so yeah, we can most definitely give you a credit for that, that's fine. And just to answer that question, why she paid that amount, we've been trying to decrease the amount as much as we can to help our parents of cheerleaders, because we do have a lot of cheerleaders that have football players on the squad, and it's already 125, 150. So we're really trying to work with all the parents who want to have cheerleaders as well. So if you all have any questions about why she paid that, we're really, really trying to decrease this amount as much as possible to help you all.
How old do the children gotta be?
I started training at 3.
3?
We got all ages.
I take my 3.
Yeah.
I think somebody had a question over here. Any more questions about due dates, anything like that? Okay, you said she did.
Okay, Coach Wood, if you got a child, you know, they're going out for school football. Do y'all expect them to come to y'all practice too? I know for me, David went out for school football and he made school football. I had to rush them from school practice. Then I had to bring him to Richmond. Do y'all expect them to come to y'all practice too?
Well, that's why we cut our practices back to 2 days a week, because we know kids got other obligations, like you say, school ball. So, if it's an issue, you can always talk to me. We can figure out if he can't make it one day, or we'll work out. Just let the coach know, and we'll work out whatever issue you got. Yeah, and that's also why we kind of changed the schedules around, because a lot of the middle schools play on Wednesdays. So a lot of times we won't have practice for that age group on Wednesdays. We'll have it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Any more questions? If we don't have any more questions, or if you need to see anybody afterwards, we'll also still be up here. So if you need to talk to somebody personally, that's fine. But other than that, we thank everybody for coming out. Anytime you all have a question, please feel free to email, text, or call, and we'll make sure we get back to you.